So guys, I got some more projects to do. I got my 1911, it's working, but I just have to get something fixed on it, probably just a new piece. Got a full metal M4 with an M203 grenade launcher. Oh, it's not mine, it's a friend of mine's. I am redoing a pin that's supposed to be on the back right there. It locks into the front part so it fits. I got a USB. That something in the trigger mechanism is screwed up, and this one, normally when you pull back on mine, it locks. Well, it doesn't always lock on this one. Everything's sort of loosened up in the last while. You can see it's not fitting right. Anyways, I'm going to try and do a video of what could be wrong with it, tearing it apart. I pulled the pin out, so it's already easy to take apart. The inside of here, I got a light over here. But something in this trigger mechanism is screwed up. I have no clue why. It should lock back as is, but something somewhere is worn out. And that's not good. Anyways guys, I'm gonna start getting some work done. Okay, well I got the grips off and all that stuff. Here are the two grips, just held on by two screws. You have to pull a pin out to get the slide and all that out. Look what I found under the grips in this hole. There are lead weights to help make the gun more, weight accurate. That's safe. Anyways, to remove the trigger assembly, which here, this trigger will actually stay in the case. I haven't figured a way to get it out yet without taking apart the frame. I got the back safety, the slide safety, whatever you want to call it. It's just held on by one screw and then it comes out. And now it's just going through this thing and taking this apart and finding out what in it is worn out so bad that the hammer doesn't stay back. That's the next part. I'll open it up in a bit and show you guys what's inside. Okay guys, so last night I got some more work done. I did finally get everything pulled apart. It is now stripped right to the bone. I haven't bothered with top end since I'm pretty sure it still works. You have to remove the safety lever, which is just held on with a little screw right here, and that will allow the back safety to pop out. Just keep in mind there's a bunch of springs in here, so you have to be really careful. There's a little spring on this side of the box, the trigger assembly, and it'll sit between this pin, sorry it's going to be really hard to see, this pin. Apparently you won't be able to, but you see that big slot that's right here? It fits in there. That will pop out, and it popped out in my face a few times. So I'm just going to put the camera down, open up this box, and I'll show you guys what's actually inside it. I can do this by one hand. There are two springs in here that you have to be careful. Actually a third one that's on this little piston here. There's this little spring that holds the actual hammer back. And then there's a spring for the hammer itself. I mean a spring for the latch and a spring for the hammer. Just be really careful when you open it that you have stuff around you that will contain the pieces flying apart. Something I did realize, this gun has lead weights, in the handle. So be really careful handling them. They just sit in there. I think they help with making the weight more realistic. So the silver part that you see in my fingers has a little piece on it somewhere in one of these little baggies here. There's supposed to be a pin going through that I have to find a new one for. It's what activates the gas valve on the mag. And the part I had to machine was one of these little pieces. It's not going to focus for me. But on the actual trigger assembly itself, there's two little things on the edge of it. These are what actually catch onto the little catch there. They were so worn down they wouldn't catch, so I actually had to machine them with the hand file and my Dremel to make them fit a bit better. Aside from that, there's another issue. I'm missing another piece on the back end of this thing. It's a piece that allows the trigger mechanism to actually activate and push the catch away. Without that, it won't allow me to fire at all. Anyways guys, I'm going to reassemble this and start on the next project. I'll do it in separate videos just so it's a little easier to check. Okay guys, I got the trigger assembly back in. you'll see it has sort of a safety on it. It's not allowing me to pull back. If you look down in there, you'll see, if I can get my screwdriver, right here, there's this part. This actually goes up and down. When the slide gets pulled back, here I'll push it forwards, when the slide gets pulled back, you'll see it go down. That's when it fires again. It pushes this down. If you're still holding the trigger, it'll hold it down and won't allow you to pull the hammer back. What you have to do is let off the trigger. The spring is supposed to push this back up, and then you can fire again. But something is missing within the assembly, so I've tried and mock up something, machine something up. But once I have more about that, I'll figure it out. If I remember right, it's a KSC, which so far is driving me nuts. I'm starting to like my KJW. Not sure what else to do. Anyways, this one's dead for now. Still got that one to do, but that one's really dead because now there is a cracked trigger. Notice nothing in the upper part is moving while I pull the trigger. This arm attaches to the trigger on the side. It's really hard to see, but there's part broken off the trigger to here. It's all white metal pieces, so they tend to crack really easily. So that second handgun's dead. The size of the mags on these things, they weigh about a pound each, rough guess, compared to the little light buggers that are used on this one. Mine is sort of the mid-level ones. Anyways, again, if you have any more questions, just give me a shout and I'll see what I can do. I am a electromechanic, but using that background to be a weapons technician for Airsoft. I don't deal with real weapons just because it's not in my nature, and I do not have any real training on them. Electric and GBBs and all that, I have no problem with. I've learned how to deal with them. Anyways guys, have a good one.